Good morning. Today we will study linear span, linear independence and dependence. First of all, linear span of a set. Let V be a vector space over a field F and let S be a subset of V. Then the set of all finite linear combinations of S is called linear span of S and we denote it by LS. Thus, LS is equal to lambda V1 plus lambda V2 plus dash 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 lambda Vn, where lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n are elements of a field and V1, V2, Vn are elements of S, and n is some natural number. If we consider a subset S equal to 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0 of a real vector space R, then any linear combination of a finite number of elements of S is of the form lambda into 1, 0, 0 plus mu into 0, 1, 0. If we multiply inside by lambda, then we get lambda into 1, lambda into 0 and lambda into 0. And if we multiply inside the second vector, we get mu into 0, mu into 1 and mu into 0. If we add the corresponding elements of the vectors so obtained, we get lambda plus 0, 0 plus mu and 0 plus 0. So the resulting vector is lambda mu 0. So by the definition of linear span of the set S, it is a linear combination of elements of S. So we can write LS as lambda mu 0 where lambda mu belongs to R. Clearly linear span of set S is xy plane in three-dimensional Euclidean space R cube and is a subspace of R cube. In fact, this is true for every non-empty subset of a vector space. Now we will prove that linear span of S is a subspace of V where S is non-empty subset of the vector space V over a field F. For this, first of all, we see that 0 is equal to 0 into V1 plus 0 into V2 plus dash 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 0 into Vn for every positive integer n. Therefore, 0 is a finite linear combination of S and so 0 belongs to linear span of S. Or we can say linear span of S is non-empty subset of V. Now we will show that linear span of S is a subspace of V. For this, first of all, we consider two vectors u and v in LS. Because u and v belongs to linear span of S, therefore we can express u as a linear combination of vectors of S and we can express v as a linear combination of vectors of S. So u is equal to lambda 1 u1 plus lambda 2 u2 plus dash 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 lambda n un for scalars lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n belonging to F and u1, u2, un belonging to S. And v is equal to mu1 v1 plus mu2 v2 plus mu m vm for some mu1, mu2, mun belonging to F and v1, v2, vn belonging to S. Here n and m are natural numbers. If lambda and mu are any two scalars in F, then we may write lambda u plus mu v equal to, if we substitute the value of u and v, then we get lambda into lambda 1 u1 plus lambda n un. Similarly, plus mu into mu1 v1 plus mu2 v2 plus dash 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 mu m vm. If we multiply inside by lambda and second bracket by mu, we get lambda into lambda 1 u1 plus lambda into lambda n un plus mu into mu1 v1 plus dash dash and mu into mu m vm. Clearly, lambda u plus mu v is a finite linear combination of vectors in S. It means lambda u plus mu v belongs to linear span of S for all uv belonging to linear span of S and lambda mu belonging to F. Hence, LS, which is linear span of the set S, is a subspace of V. Next, we will show that linear span of S is the smallest subspace of V containing S. And S is given here. Because linear span of S is a subspace of V, therefore, let V be an arbitrary vector in S. We may write V as 1 into V because S is a subspace of V. It means V is a finite linear combination of S, and consequently V belongs to linear span of S, means V belongs to LS. We have taken V to be the element of S and we have shown that V belongs to LS. It means S is a subspace of LS, subset of LS. Now it remains to show that LS is the smallest subspace of V containing S. For this, we prove that if there exists another subspace T containing S, then it also contains LS. So let T be a subspace of V containing S, or S is a subset of T. Let U be an arbitrary vector in LS, which is linear span of S. Then we may write U as a linear combination of elements of S. U is equal to lambda 1 V1 plus lambda 2 V2 plus dash 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 lambda n Vn, where lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n are elements of a field and V1, V2, Vn are elements of S, and n is some positive integer. Because S is a subset of T, therefore V1, V2, Vn belongs to T. And this implies lambda 1 V1 plus dash 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 lambda and Vn belongs to T, because T is a subspace of V. And lambda 1 V1 plus lambda and Vn is equal to U. It means U belongs to T for all U belonging to LS, since U is an arbitrary vector in S. And this implies LS is a subset of V, because U was the element of LS and we have shown that U is the element of T. It means LS is a subset of T. Hence LS is the smallest subspace of V containing S. Linear span of S is the smallest subspace of V. Since the null space 0 is the smallest subspace of V containing the empty set phi, therefore by convention we will write that linear span of phi is null space 0. It is clear that if S is a non-empty subset of vector space Vf, then S itself is smaller than Ls. In fact, Ls always contains infinite number of vectors whenever whatever the number of vectors in SB. Now to show that vectors V1 equal to 1 1 and V2 equal to 1 2 span R square over a field R. So in order to show that V1 and V2 span R square, it is sufficient to show that any vector in R square is a linear combination of V1 and V2. Let V is equal to AB and it is an element of R square. Let V is equal to xV1 plus yV2. If we substitute the value of V, V1 and V2 in this, then we get AB equal to x into 1 1 plus y into 1 2. And on the right hand side, if we multiply first vector by x, we get x. And in the second term, we get y and 2y. If we add these two terms, we get x plus y and x plus 2y. So in the next step, we get AB equal to x plus y and x plus 2y. Two vectors are equal if their corresponding elements are equal. And this means x plus y equal to A and x plus 2y equal to B. This is a consistent system of equations for all a b belonging to R, and here x is equal to 2a minus b and y equal to b minus a. This we may get by solving these two equations, x plus y equal to a and x plus 2y equal to b. So every vector in R square over a field R is a linear combination of v1 and v2. Now linearly independent. The vectors in a subset S equal to v1, v2, vn of a vector space V over a field F are linearly independent over a field F if lambda 1 v1 plus dash 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 lambda and vn equal to 0 whenever all these scalars lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n belonging to F are 0. If the vectors are not linearly independent, then they are called linearly dependent. In this case, there exist scalars lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n belonging to F such that lambda 1 v1 plus dash 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 lambda 1 lambda and vn equal to 0, but not all lambdas are 0. In case of linearly independent vectors, all the scalars lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n are 0, and in case of linearly dependent vectors, all scalars lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n are not equal to 0. Thus at 0 in a vector space Vf is always linearly dependent because lambda into 0 is equal to 0 for all non-zero lambda belonging to F. Also, a singleton set containing a non-zero vector V is always linearly independent because lambda into V equal to 0 implies lambda equal to 0. Also, the empty set is linearly independent. One more thing I want to add into this. An infinite set of vectors is said to be linearly independent if every finite subset is linearly independent. Otherwise, it is linearly dependent. A set of non-zero vectors S equal to v1, v2, vn in a vector space Vf is linearly dependent if and only if some one of them, say vector vk, is a linear combination of the vectors v1, v2, vk minus 1 which precedes it. So first of all, we suppose that S equal to v1, v2, vn is a set of vectors in Vf and it is linearly dependent. Because it is linearly dependent, so there exist scalars lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n in a field F, and these scalars are not all 0, but we have lambda 1 v1 plus lambda n vn equal to 0. Let k be the largest positive integer such that lambda k is not equal to 0. And lambda 1 v1 plus lambda k vk is equal to 0. We claim that this k is always greater than 1. Because if k is equal to 1, then lambda 1 v1 equal to 0 and lambda 2, lambda 3, lambda n are also 0. But lambda 1 v1 equal to 0 implies that lambda 1 is equal to 0 because v1 is non-zero vector. Therefore, we get lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n all equal to 0, which contradicts the fact that v1, v2, vn is linearly dependent, and for linearly dependent set, all the scalars are not equal to 0. Hence, k is not equal to 1, it is greater than 1. Now, lambda 1 v1 plus lambda k minus 1 vk minus 1 plus lambda k vk equal to 0 implies that lambda k vk is equal to minus lambda 1 v1 dash 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 minus lambda k minus 1 vk minus 1. We have shifted the terms to other side, right hand side, and this implies because lambda k is not equal to 0, therefore lambda k inverse exists. Therefore, Vk is equal to minus lambda 1 lambda k minus k inverse v1 plus dash 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 minus lambda k minus 1 lambda k inverse vk minus 1. This implies vk is a linear combination of the vectors which precedes it. Hence, some one vector of the set S is a linear combination of the vectors which precedes it. Now, the converse. Suppose that a vector Vk of the set S equal to v1, v2, vn is a linear combination of the vectors v1, v2, vk minus 1 which precedes it. Hence, there exist scalars lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda k minus 1 in a field F, and Vk is equal to lambda 1 v1 plus dash 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 lambda k minus 1 vk minus 1. If we shift Vk to other side, then we get lambda 1 v1 plus lambda k minus 1 vk minus 1 plus minus 1 into vk equal to 0. And we can again write it as lambda 1 v1 plus dash 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 lambda k minus 1 vk minus 1 plus minus 1 into vk plus 0 into vk plus 1 dash 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 0 into vn equal to 0. This implies a non-trivial linear combination of the set is a zero vector. Here one may observe that coefficient of vk is minus 1 and this is a non-zero element. Hence, the set is linearly dependent. Now, we will prove one more thing, that subset of a linearly independent set is linearly independent. If any set is linearly independent, then its subset will also be a linearly independent set. Let S is equal to v1, v2, vm, and it is linearly independent set of vectors in a vector space V over a field F. Let S dash is equal to v1, v2, vn. Here n is less than or equal to m, because S dash is a subset of S. Therefore, lambda 1 v1 plus dash 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 lambda and vn equal to 0 implies that lambda 1 v1 plus dash 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 lambda and vn plus 0 into vn plus 1 plus 0 into vm equal to 0. And this implies lambda 1 equal to lambda 2 equal to lambda 3 equal to dash 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 equal to lambda and equal to 0, because S is linearly independent set. Hence, S dash is also linearly independent. Now we will prove that if V is a vector space of functions from R to R, then the functions ft equal to sin t, gt equal to e raised by t, and ht equal to t square are linearly independent in V. Let x, y, z are scalars such that x ft plus y into gt plus z into ht equal to 0 for all t belonging to R. If we put t equal to 0, pi and pi by 2 respectively in this equation, we get x into f0 plus y into g0 plus z into s0 equal to 0. If we substitute t equal to pi, then we get x into f pi plus y into g pi plus z into h pi equal to 0. If we substitute t equal to pi by 2, we get x into f pi by 2 plus y into g pi by 2 plus z into h pi by 2 equal to 0. From the first equation, we see that f of 0 means sine 0. Sine 0 is 0. G of 0 means e raised by 0. E raised by 0 is 1. H of 0 is 0 square. It means h of 0 is 0. So, in first equation, f of 0 is 0, h of 0 is 0, and g of 0 is 1. It means 0 plus y into 1 plus z into 0 is equal to 0. It means y equal to 0. In second equation, f of pi means sine of pi. Sine of pi is 0. G of pi means e raised to power pi. H of pi means pi square. So x into 0 plus y into e raised to power pi plus z into pi square equal to 0. It means y e raised to power pi plus z pi square equal to 0. Now if we substitute pi by 2, f of pi by 2 means sin pi by 2. Sin pi by 2 is 1. G pi by 2 means e raised to power pi by 2. H pi by 2 means pi by 2 square means pi square upon 4. So x into 1, y into e pi by 2, z into pi square upon 4. This gives x plus y e raised to power pi by 2 plus z pi square upon 4 equal to 0. If we solve this equation, if in first equation y is 0, if we substitute y equal to 0 in second equation, we get z equal to 0. And if we substitute y equal to 0 and z equal to 0 in third equation, we get x equal to 0. So this implies x equal to 0, y equal to 0 and z equal to 0. Thus x into ft plus y into gt plus z into ht implies x equal to y equal to z equal to 0. Hence ft, gt and ht are linearly independent. Thank you.